Dr. Patty, it's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out for the program. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it as well.
So let's start off with the dramatic in the very beginning here. We all lived the past 3 years with COVID, and in your
Yeah.
particular profession, I'm sure it was pretty heady, and it all worked out its own way. How did you survive it, and how has it changed the way that you go about life now that the world's waking up here in post-pandemic 2023?
Yeah, I think I probably shared some similar experiences as others going through COVID, being, suffering from the isolation of not being able to be with family and friends, kind of relearning how to just interact with family members at a very close proximity, right? But I also did lose loved ones in the pandemic. So that the trauma, I think all of us now can say that we've experienced a shared trauma experience, and everybody at different levels, those that lost loved ones to those that didn't, right? But as for our family and us, it was at a very traumatic level, but it is also at a very awakening level that we were able to unveil just a lot of beauty in the solidarity that came with COVID. And I think as a professional in my field, as a business psychologist, what we've uncovered and seen is that organizations are now having to rethink their mindset, right? Rethink how they approach their workforce, especially from a mental health perspective, and especially from being a little bit more compassionate about how people have become traumatically informed and are dealing with anxiety and coming back into the workforce. It's not as easy as leaders would like it to be for their employees, right? To just let's come back to work, everybody. Well, I think everybody has their own lived experience. That's happened with COVID. So it's been interesting to watch from internally from my personal family setting, and then also watch from a professional with my doctorate in psychology from that setting, seeing how organizations are having to it's never going to be the same. And
Yeah.
leaders, want to go back, right, to the way it used to be. No, I don't think we're never gonna go back.
No.
And so those organizations and leaders, and even from a personal level, those people that accept, it's gonna be different. And now there's a new opportunity to make something different from it, are the ones that are gonna continue to prosper now after this pandemic.
So let's get to the essence of exactly what you do for a living. Everyone, let's put you in front of a bunch of third graders, career day. One of the kids looks up and says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer
Wow.
them?
That's such a great question. For me, what I do for a living, and that would be hard. I don't know if I could explain this to a third grader, but I will try. I would say that I'm a person, or every day I come to work to listen, right? To listen to different leaders in organizations, to listen to employees, to listen to customers, to find out really what is their biggest motivator in what they do. And so I would maybe try to describe it in this sense to a third grader. I don't even know. You got me there, Joe. I don't even know. Um, I think it would be to just sit and listen,
Okay.
observe, and be curious. Come curious. And so I think I would encourage third graders do that already naturally, though.
Yeah, they do.
Right. Kids are just so natural at being curious and asking questions and not being judgmental from the get-go, right? I think that's just the beautiful part about being a child, is that you come into the world with curiosity. And so I think I would just encourage them to continue being them, and I'm here to help them be them. I don't know. We'll see. I've never done that speech.
Yeah, well, maybe you got groomed for it. So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
I wanted to be a doctor, which I
Okay.
am a doctor, which is
Yep.
wonderful, but I wanted to be a medical doctor,
Okay.
and wanted to be a pediatrician. That was always my goal. I loved, just the whole concept of medicine and our bodies and how it works, and just fascinated by that. Unfortunately, my pathway didn't take me that way. But it did take me to being a doctor of something, an expert in something. And so I'm super proud of that, considering that Latinas hold a very, very, very small percentage of doctorate and PhDs. And so I'm privileged and honored to say that I'm part of that very small group of women, women of color, that have completed the highest level of education. So yeah, I got there a little
Yeah.
bit, just a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
different roads.
Sure. So you obviously have very proud roots. Talk to me about where you were born and raised and how these seeds of business and wanting to help others came into you.
So I was born and raised El Paso, Texas, a very border town right on the border between Mexico. El Paso is a very unique city. It's the only city in the US that borders two states and two countries all at the same time. There's no other city in the US that does that.
Wow.
And so our culture here in El Paso is 85% Hispanic. So we are predominant, we live and breathe the Hispanic value of family, community, cuisine, being together all the time. And so that's what I grew up with. And as a leader now, as a professional, I think that's translated into my ability to be very inclusive when I meet different people, when I lead different people, to understand that all of us are really down to our roots, are human, and we all just want connection. And in the Hispanic community, it's all about connection, sometimes a little too much connection and too much familia. But it really is about being there for individuals at that very humanistic level. And so I always say that Latinos bring a very inclusive, human centric type of leadership when they're part of organizations or teams or anything like that. And so I'm very proud of my Latin roots. And that is why I created my institute, which is called El Puente Institute, that focuses on supporting and advancing Latinos in the workplace. And that's really to give back, because that's also part of our community, is that we want to give back to our community. But we're struggling with the systemic barriers that we all take as minorities in this country. And we're also struggling with our own cultural barriers that are ingrained in who we are as a culture, that sometimes also hold us back from maybe speaking up in a meeting, or saying or being outspoken when we've taught to be quiet, especially Latinas. Calladita más bonita means quiet. You look more prettier. We've been taught that. And so sometimes that just kind of shows up naturally in who we are now as adults. But overall, I wouldn't take anything away from being part of a Hispanic community. And especially El Paso, it's a very unique border town. And we are really leading a lot of the innovation that's coming out from the Hispanic community. So we're super proud of that.
So, who's been a hero for you in your life?
I think there's been a couple of people. Of course, the women in my life, my mother, grandmothers, all the women in my life are strong Latina women. And if you know anything about strong Latina women, like we can, they really stand in their power when they need to, and then they're very comforting and supportive when they need to be too. So the women in my life have always been those heroes. And then there's also been just kind of outside heroes, like Michelle Obama is a big hero of mine as well. Just the way that she stands in her power as an African American woman, and everything that she's done and stands for and continues to stand for, is a big hero in my life as well. Others, even Eva Logoria, a lot of other Latinas that are doing amazing work, and even just the everyday Latina that does amazing work. My heroes are the younger generation.
Yeah.
I did my dissertation, Joe, on Hispanic millennials. And I really believe, and I know just from my research that I've done around the capacity they have from a mental perspective, from a psychological perspective, the immense amount of information that they're taking in, this younger generation is taking in ongoing, and how they're able to compartmentalize this information, right? And then it informs who they are. They're the ones breaking barriers right now. They're the ones questioning narratives that their generational, family members have tried to impose on them. They're really the ones that are stepping out of what is supposed to be. And truly, I think they're really one of my heroes. So I always try to support the younger generation, millennial, Gen Z, especially Gen Z now coming into the workforce. And especially because they've experienced COVID and the pandemic very differently than any other generation.
Yeah.
And so I do believe that they're the biggest heroes right now, and they're going to really change the US.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. What is the ultimate motivator for you to do the work that you do? What is it that gets you going every day?
There's definitely and always has been a fire of within me that I know I've meant for something bigger. And so I'm motivated to be able to push myself to get there, to get to where I know my purpose is. And then to know that once I'm there, I'm going to be providing information, change in people's lives, knowledge that they need so that they can also stand in their own greatness. And so what motivates me is to know that as I stand in my greatness, I'm going to do everything I can to let others know that they can stand in their greatness too, right? That they can be proud of where they come from, create what they want in their lives. And so that motivates me each day, especially in my Latino community. We struggle with a lot of old school narratives.
Yeah.
We struggle with a lot of, which are beautiful and they shape who we are. But I always tell Latino, whenever I speak at in front of a Latino audience, or as a keynote speaker, I'm doing one next month for an amazing organization called Leading Latinas. I ask them to ask themselves, is this narrative serving you today, in today's world, in your goals, in your own purpose in life? Is it serving you? And if it's not, then you need to be brave enough to rewrite it and pave ways for others. And so that's really my purpose, that I'm doing a lot of my work, is to be able to encourage others and to push myself, because I constantly am also challenged with the old school narratives that come with being a Latina.
So what's been the best success story you've been a part of as a professional?
Oh, I've had so many. I've been fortunate to have so many, to work in teams that have been extraordinary, to be part of an organization or organizations that have really, that are about making change. I think the biggest success for me has been stepping out of the fear of opening my own business, right? And being an entrepreneur, stepping out and putting myself out there. I think has been the biggest success for me and my team at the Bridgerify Group. My research firm is called the Bridgerify Group, and El Puente is a division of my research firm. So all of us that are involved in what we do, that's been the biggest success, to see people like step out, and then me step out, and us really try to push, the envelope of what is not being done right now in organizations. And so I think that's been the best success. And there's more to come, and we're small but we're mighty, and I'm excited to see where it all leads.
So you've been down a lot of roads, you've seen a lot in your life. Let's say you have a dream tonight, you run into the 20-year-old version of yourself, and you could give that younger version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained so far. What would you tell that younger version of you?
Wow, that younger version. um I think the biggest thing is that we doubt our own gut voice, like our own inner voice. And we doubt it for many reasons, for because we're scared, because we've been told something. My younger version was in a small college in Minnesota, being labeled as a student of color, when I've never been. I didn't even know what that meant when I came out of El Paso, Texas, because I was the majority. I was not the minority. I had to call my mom and be like, am I a student of color? Am I a person of color? What does that even mean? And she was like, no te apures, mija. She's like, don't worry about it. You just go do school. You go do that. So the younger version of me knew something was wrong, but followed what everybody else told me to do, versus follow what I knew I needed to do as that younger version of me. So this is why I admire the younger generations, because they all automatically follow their own voice and
Yeah,
their own instinct,
yeah,
while I questioned mine. So I would tell my younger self, do it. You know what you got to do. Don't listen to the voices around you, to the people that are downing you, to the people that are labeling you, putting you in a box. You do what you know what you need to do, and put your head up high and move forward. I think I lost a lot of time because I listened to society, what society wanted me to be,
yeah,
what my culture wanted me to be. And so today I continue encouraging those younger generations. You're doing it. You have a voice. Use it, but use it wisely,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Learn from others. Learn from the mistakes. Learn how to channel your energy a certain way,
Sure.
and
So
you'll be
let's get
successful.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get to the essence of who you are. Everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you're in control. What is your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm real. Like, if you were to ask me a question, I would kindly ask, would you like my opinion, or would you like my true opinion, or would you just like to vent? Like, that's
Yeah.
always my question. Do you want my opinion? Do you want to vent? Because I think I'm going to tell it to you straightforward. And I tell my clients, we sometimes tell our clients, look, we may not be the consulting firm for you, right? And that's okay. Like, no hard feelings. Everybody is at their own place at their current time with what they know. And we respect that. I respect that. And so I see myself as a real person. I feel like I've been a military spouse. My husband served the military for 20 years. I've experienced different cultures. I've traveled. I have my education. So I feel I'm well rounded to have compassion and empathy towards anybody and anybody's situation, because I know that my lived experience is not your lived experience. So I see myself as a person that can be really real with somebody, but then can also be very compassionate and understand that, life is hard,
Yeah.
and ups and downs and death and life and all that comes as part of life. But I feel with my experience, I'm able to just find a relationship or a string to each and every person that I meet. So like yourself, Joe, you shared about a little bit about your daughter. Like there's already a string you and I connect and
Sure.
understand a lived experience that maybe you've heard her say that maybe now I've said today. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm pretty real. I don't, yes, I'm a doctor. Yes,
Right.
I own my business, but if you want to have Starbucks, like I'm down for Starbucks, I'm
Yeah.
down for tacos, like I'm down for it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I dig
Even
it.
tequila.
Yeah. I like it. Me too.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to reach out, hire you, learn more about you, where can they go?
Yeah, so we are, of course, we have our website, the bridgifygroup.com, that you can visit us at. I'm very active on LinkedIn and Instagram under the Bridgify Group, as well as El Puente Institute. You can always reach me there. You can DM me, also Facebook. So we're pretty much in all social media outlets. If you just want to contact me directly, I'm happy to leave my email with you, Joe, and people
Okay.
can do that as well. We're really looking for clients that are ready to do something a little bit different than what's usually been done. We're looking for clients that are looking to really advance their Hispanic workforce as well as consumer. I mean, Hispanics have a large buying power here in the US. Like we could be our own, we're the fifth largest country when it comes to GDP and our buying power. So there's a lot of organizations that are marketing to Hispanics, but they're kind of missing the boat.
Yeah.
So I would say give us a call, because we also partner with a lot of different Latino marketing firms and we want to do cultural relevant leadership development as well as cultural relevant connection with our community. And so I think that, yeah, we got that. We have those skill sets. So
I love it. Dr. Patty, thank you for your energy, for your story. It's been
thank you,
wonderful.
Joe.
I can't wait
I
to get it out.
appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. I know this
Sure.
is just the way it popped in, but thank you. And I wish you all the best of luck. I hope we can continue staying in contact.
Absolutely.
But thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll connect on social. We'll make it happen. Absolutely. Thank you.
Sounds
Enjoy the
great.
day.
Alrighty, you too.
See you later.
Okay, bye bye.
Take care.